God bless you, and thank you for joining us here on Heart Ministry Radio Network and the Extraordinary People broadcast. I am your host, Brenda Divers, and today, as you see, I have three beautiful women who are sharing the set with me today. And we're going to be talking about Peace Week in Delaware, right?
Yes.
But before we get to that, I always like to talk to or get the conversion experience of all of my guests. That's my favorite part. I know we are doing a God work, but I always love to hear how he drew us to himself. So, Deborah, tell us your name and then please your experience.
Okay, my name is Deborah Gilbert White, and I can't say that I had a conversion experience as people would normally think of a conversion experience. I grew up in the church as a little girl in Harlem, New York. My grandmother belonged to, my great grandmother belonged to Metropolitan Baptist Church, and so we were in and out of that church many times when she was a choir, the Women's Guild, anything that was happening at Metropolitan Baptist Church, we were there with Mama I. Mama I. And then my grandmother would later continue to have us, be involved in church and in community. And so being baptized at 11 years old and singing in the choir and at times playing for the choir. I used to take music lessons and play for a choir in the church.
Nice.
So I've always been involved in church. But I would say that there was a time where I was not going to church regularly. And so I got reconnected with that part of my faith involvement in community and in the church. But I always knew that God was with me and that God was there.
Amen.
Amen.
He promised us that, didn't he?
Yes.
He would always be with
Always
us.
be with us.
Praise the Lord.
My name is Faustina,
I love that.
Yes. Beautiful.
and I have two last names, Dixon Kilgo.
Okay.
So Kilgo is my married name. And I was reared in Delaware, in Newcastle, Delaware. And I grew up in Community Presbyterian Church with someone that a lot of people know, Dr. Reverend Maurice Moyer. But it's Reverend Dr. Maurice Moyer. And he was very active in the community. We had a wonderful community church. And at 9 years old, I became a deaconess. I think God just kind of like put the stamp on me pretty early so that I wouldn't go too far from him, you know. So I laugh today because we had so much fun in church. We had parties in church in the basement. We had summer school all summer, not this 1 week or this 2 week vacation, but we had vacation Bible school all summer.
Awesome.
And the church was truly our community, you know. So that's how I was raised. And so I came to know the Lord at an early age and playing music at an early age and playing in the church at an early age and so God's been good all along. Now what I did with it later on was my choice, but I never really left the Lord, even if with my not so good behavior.
I like
It's
how you
in me.
put that.
Yes, I had to do that, you know, for my children out there.
There's always a way back home.
Yes, yes.
Praise the
Amen.
Lord. Reverend Wanda.
I'm Reverend Wanda Jervy. And how I came to know the Lord was I was raised in Seaford, Delaware, and we went to the Church of God on Cleveland Street in Seaford, where the bus used to come and get us in the country. And so we used to catch the bus just to get out of the country. And we just because we never got to get out of the country. So anyway, we was not made to go to church, to be honest. But we knew God. We knew there was a God. We knew there was Jesus. We knew the story. we was raised up with the story, and I believed in Jesus and gave my life to Christ at an early age, even if I didn't understand it totally. So I knew that it was real, even though, as Faustina said, I might not did it, I might have slipped away at an earlier, at a young age, but God had his hand on me
Praise the
the whole time,
Amen.
to where when I got old enough to know better, and he continued to call me, I finally answered the call to where I'm at today.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. See, that is my favorite question, because I love to see how he brings us to him in an individual way.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
We all
that's
have a
true.
story.
Yes.
That's true.
So I love that part of it. Before we came on, you heard a little music. You heard a saxophone playing. Queen Faustina. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. And what the saxophone, I think, is one of my favorite instruments. I've never learned to play it. But I think, and especially when a woman plays it, there's something about that. So we're just so grateful for that experience. But we're talking about today Peace Week.
Amen.
Yes.
Delaware.
Yes,
So that's
awesome.
really why we're here today.
Yes.
And certainly our friend, I haven't seen Deborah in a long time,
It's
but
been
it
a
was
few
so
years.
good to be reconnected and just to see that you are continuing the work.
Yes.
Amen.
You know, it's so
Yes.
good when people are continuing the work.
Yes.
And so tell us about Peace Week and the different things you need, one, and how, and who's working with you. In that.
Okay, great. Well, Peace Week, this will be the 4th annual Peace Week here in Delaware, Peace Week Delaware 2019. And it is put together by a group of folks here who are looking at peace as an alternative to some of the other things that are happening in our world today.
Yes.
And these are people from different walks of life, people from community, such as my organization, Her Story Ensemble, people from the religious community, such as Battle Cry Ministries, a foundation,
Yes.
and just, people in the community who are looking to come together around this issue of peace. Lord knows that we need more peace
Yes.
in the world.
Yes.
And so there are 88 different events happening starting on September 21st, which is International Peace Day.
Okay.
And so
Yes.
people all around the world this Saturday,
Okay.
September
Celebrate.
21st,
Yes,
will be
celebrate.
celebrating peace, will be focused on peace, and that's going to be some powerful energy.
Yes, it is.
And so here in Delaware, the kickoff will be at the Warner Elementary School Saturday, September 21st from 4 to 6 p.m. And there we'll have local people from Delaware, like the Twin Poets will be there. Also musicians and, activities for children. It's family friendly, so and it's free.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
inviting people to come out on September 21st to Warner Elementary School.
Okay.
The piece that we play with Peace Week,
Wow.
play on words.
Yeah, wow.
Is
That
that
was awesome.
right? Thank you. Is that as Her Story Ensemble, we wanted to lift the issue of homelessness and people living without housing, and also housing instability issues. And what does peace look like for people who don't have a place to stay? How do you find peace
Yes.
in
Yes.
those type of situations? And so we have invited a few people to be part of the program to talk about that with us. But also, the name of our program is Peace Notes. And so part of the Peace Notes is having Swathina provide the musical piece. We have picked specific songs that we will be playing connected to those who will be speaking
Yes.
and sharing
Wonderful.
notes to the community about peace from their perspective.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So, Faustina, what are you going to? Can you give us a little bit about the songs you're going to be playing, or the inspiration behind the songs?
Let me
Don't-
check.
instead
Let me
of putting
check
too
with
much
my
out.
advisor here.
Instead of
It's
putting too
okay.
much out.
It's okay.
Instead of putting too much out there. Just
Share
kinda,
what you want to share.
it's okay. Just
Well, one of the most interesting selections that Deborah picked out was Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So Otis Redding? Is that
Yes.
That's a blast. From
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And
Wow.
why are we playing that one?
Because when I looked at the lyrics and I listened to the song, it talks about a person sitting there watching the tides roll away, but also
Yes.
could be seen through the perspective of somebody who has no place to go.
Yes.
right.
And so they're in this space at the dock of the bay, watching life pass
Yeah.
by.
Yes.
And they
Awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it ties into the issue of homelessness in that way for somebody.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Wow.
So I learned the lyrics because that helps me to interpret the song.
Yeah.
I always knew the hook. Said,
Right.
you know, the dock
Yeah.
of the bay, but I did not know.
And it has
So-
a beautiful melody too.
Yeah, it does.
Yes,
It does.
it
It does.
does.
And what the world needs now. Is that one of my songs?
Let there be peace on
Oh,
earth.
let there be. I love that song.
Yes.
I love that song. From a little girl, I love that song.
We
So,
learned that in school.
yes,
Elementary school. Yes.
Yeah.
and I don't know if I'm going to do Vertical Alignment, which is on my new CD. Vertical Alignment.
Yes.
You can purchase online.
Yeah, we'll get that. Certainly, we want to.
Or I'll Always Remember, which is a story in itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen.
And I'm feeling like a that kind of cafe feel, you know, when you have
Yes,
someone
I'm
speaking and then you
sure.
have the music on the background and everybody's just kind of relaxing and taking it all in. Is that the atmosphere you're trying to?
Well, to be honest, this is not new for Faustina and I. We first did this type of program for the Delaware Art Museum about 1.5 years ago.
And
I
it
could
was
see
really
that.
good.
Yeah,
I
and
can
in that
absolutely see
setting,
that,
and
yes.
at that time it was called Justice Notes.
Okay.
Because they were exhibiting paintings and artwork and photographs around the civil rights movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we did it, and we got rave reviews with that. So we said, let's do this again.
That's
Awesome.
good.
And so that's where we are.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
good. Okay. And Reverend Wanda,
Yes.
what is your contribution to Peace Week?
My contribution to Peace Week is the ministry, which is Battle Cry Ministry Foundation. And it is our homeless ministry that my husband and I have put together. Daniel Jervy, my husband. Hey, baby.
Shout out. Yeah.
Shout out to
So he is truly he's the backbone with me. But the Peace Week is for me when Deborah had asked me to come to let people know that homeless people, that's not peace. To be out on the streets, that's not peace. To trying to figure out where I'm gonna sleep tonight, that's not peace. Where I'm gonna get my next meal tonight, that's not peace. Am I gonna be in danger? That's not peace. Those things, where am me and my child?
Where we're going to be.
That's not peace. So the ministry is to help them, whether it's help them feed them, clothe them, and help shelter them. Help them find shelter, or to build the vision that we have for shelter. That's our goal. That's our goal. That's the vision, to have transitional or housing
Yes.
for the people, because no one, you shut your door every morning, you shut your door every night, you have a roof over your head. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and go to the refrigerator to get something. That's your peace. But Battle Cry Ministry is here to help those ones that can't do that. And that's part of the peace that I am bringing to Peace Week, so that we can help one person at a time
Praise the Lord.
to have that peace.
Praise the Lord.
And one of the pieces, Another piece of that is that what we're doing for people, it's free. Our event is free and open to the public, but we're asking people to bring non-perishable food items
Yes.
because Reverend Wanda, every week she's out there providing food and groceries to people who don't have enough to eat. And so we wanted to bless her ministry in that way and for people to understand that that's one way that they can do it.
Right, because we do. I'm sorry.
No.
We do have like pantry. We have a pantry, and we have perishable items that we keep to where when people give our name, and we make food boxes for families. Whether it's chicken, whatever we have available, and they'll tell, and then we'll say, well, do you have children? How many is in your family? And we're able to make food boxes for them, and we either deliver it to them or we'll tell them, okay, you have to come and pick it up or send someone to pick it up.
Okay.
So we have that available too. So we do. That's another reason why we are asking for donations.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I think that's how we met.
Yes.
Deborah, for speaking with you and how I guess God was taking your circumstance and kind of putting you before the world.
Yes.
To, because it was a different look that we had. Sometimes homelessness looks different. You know.
Yes.
And I think we have spoken to so many people from all walks of life who were homeless at some point where nobody knew, where they still had to function in life, but nobody knew at the end of the day, this is where I have to go. And,
Yes.
so I think that really shed some light on that for us.
Yes, you raise a very important point. When I experienced homelessness, I became homeless due to eviction and a loss of a job, not being able to pay my rent. But I was able to have a part-time employment, and I was teaching and online, and I was dressed every day, and I was not sleeping in my car or in the streets, but I still did not have a place to call my own. But it began as in increments because before I lost my apartment, I started going to food pantries around Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware, and so it was very helpful, to get those packages of food, to extend my limited income at that
Yes,
time,
yes.
so I didn't have to worry about food. So I, never was hungry,
Praise the
but thank God for that.
Yes.
But the food pantries do play a major role in assisting people who not only are homeless, but also people who are low income.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a big part of it.
Yes.
So when I was in teaching, that's one of the things that Michelle Obama did for the school system. We fed the kids because we, as the years went by, on my beginning teaching career to the ending, more and more children were homeless and
Coming to school.
coming to
Yeah.
school.
Coming to school, yep.
And at first we were unaware, but their hair wasn't combed or their clothes, they were wearing clothes repeatedly that were
Yes.
dirty. But as time went on, we became more aware because we were more educated as educators. Something that we didn't think of back 20, 30 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody we thought had food.
Yes.
But
Yes.
also, the music brings people. My prayer is that I can bring people a spiritual calming, and because when people can smile or feel something good in their heart for just a moment, it can give them a lot of peace for that moment, and therefore a lot of hope.
Yes.
And I didn't really know this responsibility until I became more mature.
Yes.
But we know the music is from God, and
Yes.
so He knew what He was going to do. So it was done anyway. But now that I've become more conscious of that's my prayer, that I would touch someone's heart through music, through song.
Yes.
I tell you, Donna Washington, what a difference a day makes.
Yes.
One word, one song, one hug, one
Yes,
smile
That's right.
can
Make
make,
a
a
big
big
difference,
difference,
yes.
and how that person will persevere to that next day.
Yes.
And that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
what we do.
we used to say, one child at a time. You know, that's what we do. That's what's so profound. And God is well pleased
Yes.
when you do things intentional, with intent,
Yeah.
and with purpose.
Yes.
He's well pleased. I don't care if it's one, because he went after the one, or if it's 100.
Yes.
And so, I get excited. Okay, I'm going to stop. Wusa.
Well, this is good.
That's because, yeah.
It's perfect because we're going to take a quick break, and while we're at the break, you're going to hear some of the sounds of Queen Faustine on her saxophone. I'm telling you, that's a sharp instrument for a woman to play.
Yes,
I've always been impressed with that.
Thank
but we're going
you.
to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Wow.
Yes. Awesome.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. I
Yes,
told you the
yes,
saxophone is mine.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
So again, we're here talking about Peace Week Delaware.
Yes.
And one of the things I wanted to talk about when we were talking about women in particular who are homeless and the specific needs that they have.
Yes.
What are you doing for that?
Okay, well, one of the things that we are able to participate with Peace Week Delaware is Change the Cycle. And Change the Cycle is an organization that was started by young women, college students, who are focused on women being able to take care of their personal hygiene,
Yes.
when they're experiencing homelessness, girls and women. And so as part of Peace Week, there will be collection sites across the state where people can donate full unopened boxes of tampons, sanitary napkins, anything that is needed for personal hygiene. And I'm glad to say that our event on September 22nd will be one of those places.
Awesome.
And that would be at the Black Box Theater on Route 9,
Okay.
the Route 9 Library.
Okay.
But this is a really important issue because in some places, people are being taxed for these necessities.
Yeah.
And so there's a movement around that, people not being taxed for these goods.
Yeah.
But also, you're living on a fixed income, or you're a low income person, and you're, this is something that happens each month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
a box or sanitary napkins could cost like $6 or
Yes,
more,
yes.
and so it becomes very expensive.
Yes.
So this is a way to bring awareness. I'm glad to see young people involved in
Involved,
this,
yes.
that are saying, this is something that we need to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
So there's, you said different sites around Delaware.
Different sites around Delaware. If you go to peaceweek.org, you'll be able to see where they are.
locations.
Or either go to our website, herstoryensemble.com,
Okay.
and we would have a link for Peace Week Delaware, and you can see the different ways that people are
Get involved.
supporting this. Yes.
This is so good. So again, that was when we started talking about the homeless situation. That's the first thing that came to mind. You know, because as a young woman, that was always something you had to make sure you're at the right place at the right time, and
Yes.
you know what happens when this happens, you know,
Yes.
and all of that. And people who are not in a home per se, they really have to make some changes.
Yes.
And
You know.
currently, I live in D.C. Right now, although I work with Her Story Ensemble in Delaware, and we're looking to do some work through Her Story Ensemble in D.C. But I am part of the Speakers Bureau, the Faces of Homelessness Speakers Bureau, and what we do often, we do outreach runs. And what that means is that we will make packets of sandwiches and lunches, food packets, and also hygiene.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
oftentimes some of these products will be in there,
In there.
Yeah.
in there,
Yes.
so that women who are generally we're in DuPont Park, which is a major park in DC, and a lot of homeless folks will. People experiencing homelessness will be out
be
there,
there, yes.
and so depending on what day and time it is, we will be out there handing out these hygiene.
Wonderful. It's so good. That's good. You know, my family from Washington. Did I share that with you?
You did share that
My
with
mother
me,
and
yes.
father were from D.C. and they migrated to Philadelphia. But most of our families in the D.C. area, Maryland,
It's a
Prince
busy
George's
area.
County. Yes, yes. So this is, I think this is, sometimes they're good works
Yes.
and they're God works, right? This is a
like
God
that.
work.
Yes.
I like
Yes.
that. Yes.
Because we're taking care of his people and thinking of the needs
Yes.
of his people, you know. So, Reverend Wanda,
Yes.
you're doing this all the time as far
Yes.
as feeding the homeless and that kind of thing. What would you like for us to do? How could we better serve you in your ministry?
Well, in all kinds of ways, to be honest. Especially during these upcoming months, because that's when we get in the cold in the wintertime.
Yes.
And we have a lot of clothes ourselves that people have donated, and we're sorting through now and getting ready to go out when we go out. But the volunteer help is what we need. The volunteer help to help us sort them, and also to like your vehicles, to be able to separate. You know, so we'll have enough. We have 2 vehicles, but it's still not enough
Yeah.
to be able to get those, clothes out to the people until we're able to get housing to put so the people can come
Yeah.
and go through those clothes. We have all kinds of clothes, like this for suits for the men, so that they can
For
go for
interviewing.
interviews and stuff like
Wonderful.
that.
Yes,
And we
yes.
have dresses and stuff for the women. We shoes. We have all those kinds of things that we want to put out for them, and we do when it's the winter months. We purchase hats and gloves and scarves and stuff like that, boots, shoes, different things that we know that they're gonna need.
So for Peace Week, what is our focus? What do we want? What is the takeaway
Okay.
for all of this for Peace
Awesome.
Week?
Well,
Yes.
for Her Story Ensemble, what we're doing, Her Story Ensemble, we work on legislative pieces.
Yes.
We are working on policies and practices of the organizations and groups that are looking to support or help people who are experiencing homelessness. We started out asking for a homeless bill of rights in 2012. Right now, that is kind of flat, but it's not done.
Yes,
We
yes.
will continue to ask
Okay.
for that. But with the coming year of 2020, what we're doing now is focusing on making sure that everyone who does not have a permanent address or people who are experiencing homelessness are registered to vote, and that we support them in voting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because no matter what,
Yeah.
you are able to exercise your right to
right.
vote.
Yes.
And I am a believer, and members of Her Story Ensemble are believers that if you do not participate in the process, then it's a vote against yourself.
Yeah.
And we can
I
see,
love that. I
yeah,
love
that.
it's a vote against yourself,
Vote against
your
yourself.
self-interest, and so we can continue to be able to meet the immediate needs which are necessary. They were there when I was homeless, but also we have to look at transforming these systems that create homelessness.
True.
Yes.
That
True.
people don't have enough low-income housing,
Yeah.
that people are not making a living wage,
Yes.
and that happens through the vote. That happens through. I'm on Capitol Hill
Yeah.
many weeks since I've moved to
Lobbying.
DC,
Yes.
lobbying
Yes. Yes.
for families and for individuals and for people experiencing homelessness to have equity in this society.
Yes,
And
yes.
so for Peace Week, when you come, we'll be asking you to sign up for what we're doing around voting, making sure that the vote is not suppressed
Yes.
Right.
for people
Yes.
who don't have
Yes.
permanent housing. You can
Wow.
still vote.
Praise the Lord. Praise
Yes.
the Lord. And I
Yes.
love this. This is, again, for me to sit and just see what God is doing in the earth and
Yes.
how He uses our experiences to do those
Yes.
things.
Yes.
He has to touch us in a way
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
where we understand, okay, this is what they're experiencing.
Yes.
I need to get out here and do something.
Right.
And how he assigns people. That's why I like this organization, History Ensemble, because Deborah is such a humble, well, sometimes.
You know,
She's such a sweet spirit, and to watch how God uses her,
Yes.
because she's in the trenches. It's not a glamorous thing that she does. When we're all sitting home having our coffee, she's in the trenches.
yes, yes.
And so I'm honored that God would have picked me. We met in a very
Yeah.
strange
Yeah.
place.
You better clear that up.
But
What
it
happened to
was.
me like that?
and it goes to show how God, he knows us before the
does.
foundation
Right.
of the
Absolutely
earth.
does.
Because we met Deborah. Can I tell her?
Yeah, please. do.
Okay, because I don't want them to think that I was
Hiding something.
hiding something.
The questions would be coming in. What happened?
I hope that I'm thinking
Yeah.
correctly, but we met in school.
We met in school. I was substituting at the school where she was the music
Teacher.
teacher, and part of my substituting piece was to get there early to meet the school bus. And Faustina was already there, and those young people would come into elementary school,
Yeah.
and they would come in and run to Miss Faustina and just hug her, and they would sit in the auditorium. I guess before the
And
breakfast was served.
she would stand there
At the
just
door.
smiling,
Yes.
like,
So wonderful.
I'm gonna be in your life one
Yes,
day.
yes,
And I didn't know.
Beautiful.
I
Didn't
know.
even know she played a saxophone or
It's
anything.
nothing.
I saw the love of the Lord.
Yes.
It's
in her.
all about
See?
God.
And the children were just drawn
It's
to
his
her.
plan.
Yeah, it's his
Yes.
plan.
That's
Like,
how we met.
yeah, that's how
That
we
is
met.
That's his plan.
And it's funny because, like, well, it's not funny, but the other people say, for example, you never know who is amongst you.
Yes.
Because it was destined for her and I to speak,
absolutely.
but everybody else is doing their own thing. And here she is. She doesn't tell anybody. Dr. Deborah,
Right, right.
Yeah.
Gilbert White, all those
Yes,
titles.
yes.
And she's substituting because of whatever's going on at that time for her to do
Yes,
that.
yes.
But it's by no means her destiny.
Right.
What?
It's just a
It's
step
just
in it.
it's
It was
just
a step.
just that step.
Yeah.
So that's how we met, and I am just I get chills talking about the organization, even with other people, because I'm like, okay, let me just go with this flow. I have no. You were saying earlier, you don't know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just taking my gift,
Yes.
and Proverbs 18 said your gift will make room for
Yes,
you.
yes.
I'm just going with what
God gave me.
and I know when God says yes.
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 Amen.
And this is so
Yes.
good.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
so good.
Yes.
It says yes and amen.
Yes,
yes.
yes,
So
yes.
in Ruth chapter 2, we know the story of Ruth, and
Yes.
we know how when she gets up and says, I'm going to go and glean.
Yes.
And the Bible says it in such a way that as it would happen, she happened to be in the field of Boaz. And then that always struck me there's no coincidence, as
Right.
you know. So as we are getting up and doing the thing that God has told us to do, as it would happen, I'll meet up with
Yes.
Faustina. As would happen, I would meet Reverend Wanda.
Yes.
As it would happen, I
Yes.
would meet
Right.
Lord, and we would start. As it was
Yes.
happening.
Yes.
So while
Right.
we are doing the thing that God has called us to
Go
do,
ahead. Go ahead.
as it would happen.
Yes,
As it would
as it
happen.
would
The
happen.
things and the people that you need will come alongside.
Yes.
They will come alongside.
Amen.
Right?
Yes.
So that verse
Because he
has been
confirms his
just
word.
so prevalent in my
Confirmation.
life.
Yes.
That's
you know,
confirmation.
because all we have to do is do the work that He told us to
Yes,
do.
that's
He
right.
anoints us to do the work.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the people that we need, as it would happen.
And one of the things I generally say, when I
Fighting
say,
down there.
Amen.
God is confirming His word over here.
You know, I always say when I say yes to God,
Yes,
you know, it's like the doors open
Yes.
up. And many times it looks like, you know, why are you, like you said, why you moved to D.C.?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
or why you decide to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm just listening to God is
God.
telling me that this is where
Yes.
you need to be.
Yes.
And so when
For
you're
such
obedient,
a time as this.
yeah.
Yes.
So, you know,
For
when you're
such a time
obedient,
as
things
this.
begin to unfold
Yes.
for you.
And clarity comes.
Right, and no matter
Sometimes.
what it looks like,
Yes,
if
yes.
you are obedient, just follow through.
Yes.
Yeah, and sometimes obedience will bring a couple of knocks and pains
Yeah.
too. I'm
That's a
here to
part of the
tell you.
process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the doors don't always open at first, you know.
That's true.
But you have to
that
continue.
perseverance.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Persistence.
perseverance.
Keep pushing and walking in that
And
direction.
He'll give you the strength to
Trusting
do
God.
that too.
Yes.
It's just
All
trusting
your
God,
yeah.
regardless of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Just trusting God.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So this is a good word. You can tell this can go on for a long
Yeah.
Yes,
for
yes.
some powerhouses up here on this panel this morning. But today we're talking about Peace Week and the
Yes.
contributions that are going to be made for Peace Week.
Yes.
And if they want to be a part of this, how should they contact you, or how would you
Well,
want to
for Her Story Ensemble, please, you know, go to our website, and that would be www.herstoryensemble.com. And you'll be able to see all the things that we're involved with, and we have our email and also our phone number there. And, you know, and then join our mailing list, and you'll be able to get our monthly blog as well.
Good.
And please come out on Sunday, September 22nd, at the Route 9 Library, the beautiful library right across from the Bolorama.
Yes.
And we will be in the Black Room, which is a beautiful room.
Yeah.
And from 2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Yes.
That's a great start, because then you'll get to meet all of us at the same time,
Yes.
and we can all embrace you
Yes.
with what God
Yes.
has us do.
Yes.
How about
Yes.
that? Just come on out Sunday. We need you to come out Sunday.
Yes.
Yes.
Connected.
Yes.
Yes.
Reverend
Yes.
Wanda, is your
Just, we are at Battle Cry Ministry. We're on Facebook, and we're also, our contact information is available, battlecryministry@gmail.com.
Can I just say one last
Absolutely.
thing? I want to thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
your ministry
Praise the
and for being so open to allowing people to come and to share what we're doing in community and to
Awesome.
lift ministries and to lift missions and
Yes.
to lift programs that are helping
Awesome.
God's people.
Amen.
Oh,
So thank
that's
you
so
for that.
nice.
So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Praise God.
Yeah.
It's our pleasure. Honestly, it's our pleasure to be even chosen to do the work. You know, and we just pray that we're representing our Father well.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
So, Peace Week. If you're not doing anything, and you know, even if you are, maybe
yeah,
you know,
it's a whole week.
incorporate it. Yeah,
Take some
incorporate
time.
incorporate this
Yeah.
into
Take
Yeah.
some
week.
time out.
Yes, because there are people who need what God has given you.
True.
People who need what God has given you. And there is, again, you see the different places that God is doing this. Everybody's doing something different,
Yes.
right? But we're helping in some way.
Yes.
So do your part. And as it would happen,
As it would
God's going to
happen.
bring
That's right.
something
As it would
alongside
happen.
to
Yes.
help.
Amen.
Praise the name of the Lord. So that's our time. Thank you for tuning into Heart Ministry Radio Network and Extraordinary People Broadcast
Amen.
with the lovely ladies who are going to be at Peace Week. And again, come out, and just to see where God is going to use you.
Yes.
Amen.
Because He's
That's
going to
true.
use you if you come out.
That's true.
Right.
Amen.
So join us often, heartministrynetwork.com, heartministryradio.com. You'll be glad you did. God bless you.
God bless you.
God bless you.
God bless.